Come on, Joe.
What, you don't even say hello anymore.
Well, hello there.
What's up,
Hey,
boys?
Carl. Good, how are you?
I can even see anymore. How are you? Thought I'd surprise you.
Right there. Thank you.
Nothing. I'm a year older. Can't see, deaf, blind. My kids make fun of me all the time. Nothing's changed. Other than I'm a year older and I can't see and I'm blind. What are you doing? How's work? Business good? Try to pull up everything so I wouldn't have to grab anything. A lot of parcels here, so you might have to bear with me a little bit. And depending on where we start.
You have auto apartments too, right?
Yeah, yeah. Do I need to sign off on that? Where are we starting?
He'll
There would
probably
be-
ask you where.
Whatever you guys have on the top of the pile. So I think they have the same
3068 Erie Boulevard.
owner.
Oh, that would be AutoZone.
4745.
Yes. Yes and no. Happy that upset that if they're gonna play garbage, they can't play like garbage. Like, what did you do? Like, you have to get hard out for us. You would have been more
Bills fan?
Huh?
Bills fan?
Yeah.
Born and raised. Born and raised, sister. Yeah, I'm there.
Let me rephrase that. Watch the last.
Oh, okay. So
I was responsible for
boards.
boards.
So you kind of had to keep tabs.
So I was keeping track of that on my phone, and once we got to the point where it was not
More negotiation time, possibly.
not as bad as the time that he lost against the Bills there, that he threw the little temper
Yeah.
tantrum. But just
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't give them a fight. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
Although I don't appreciate the Eagles. I would have, Bills Eagles would have been interesting.
Bills Eagles give it back.
Well,
I mean,
I'm not saying we would Next year.
Let's hope. Really want to get,
We need that. We have
so I'm hoping that Coop can put in good work. He says he wants to go to a winning team.
I'm just gonna open up the meeting, say a few things, and then,
Pull your mic down further.
yeah.
Hey, it's not as bad as some.
Well, no, yeah, usually it's
Year?
short and sweet. I'm just going
Well-
off of what I have here. Oh, I was right.
Oh, I thought you were there. Okay.
Oh,
Oh, so this is CIG, this is not,
I do.
yeah, I was just going off of the
my role is limited, okay, so I'm just gonna listen.
Mine too, it's all right.
all right, and then I'll swear you in with,
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Good morning, everyone. This is the Syracuse City Board of Assessment Review. Today is Monday, February 10th. It is 9:15. My apologies for the late start. Let me do a roll call. My name is Joe Saya.
Whose job?
Carl Master Pool.
Okay, thank you. And just as a reminder, these meetings are recorded and videotaped on YouTube. So you can go back and see any of the days, obviously including this one, just to make you aware. And I think we've been doing that for the last couple of years anyway. Okay, so we've got a batch of properties here. I'm going to swear you in, and then I will swear Matt in at the same time. Okay, so if you can both raise your right hands. State your name for the record.
Rebecca Spino.
Ed OJ.
Do you both affirm to tell the truth and give accurate information to the best of your ability?
I do.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, 12 properties, I think. Is there any particular order?
Go in your order, just give me a minute to transition.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Because I'll have to find them.
All right, I'll go in, so you put these in the order on the sheet?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, then we'll go, if you have a sheet, but if not, that's okay.
I can,
Yeah, maybe, yeah, that'd give her maybe a heads up
Fine.
if there is an extra one. First one I have is 3068 Erie Boulevard East and Thompson Road.
I don't mind some of his coffee got on it.
It doesn't surprise me.
What's that?
I said
got
some
the
of your
nice
coffee got on it.
crinkly copy
Oh.
from the.
Did you want some coffee, by the way?
No, I'm good for now. I might if this gets heated. I'm just kidding.
Okay, all right. If we start throwing 4 letters around,
Yeah,
then,
right, you better grab the Baileys.
all right.
All right, let's roll.
Okay, we're ready.
Got off to a good start.
Okay, so, again, 3068 Erie Boulevard East. Let me just read that in. This is Rockland ET LLC.
Yes, that is the owner of the property, yeah.
Okay. And this is a commercial building?
Yep, this is a 5,200, give or take, square foot AutoZone. I have 2 AutoZones. This one, the next one, they're retail leased.
Okay, all right, very good. This one here, current tentative assessment of $650,000 with a land value of $292,500. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $81,250, and that would be an assessed value of $46,718.75. We'll call it $46,719. Okay, so it's an auto zone. Let me turn it over to you, and then we'll go from there.
Yes, as I stated, this is a leased site, AutoZone. I do have an I&E statement. Apologies, I only brought one, but I have an I&E statement to share that does go through and discuss a projected income and expense statement for them for the property based on the rental income.
Okay. So it's an auto zone.
Yep, retail.
And it's, so what is it, a franchise leased situation? Okay.
Yep.
And we've got all the particulars as far as those numbers are concerned?
Yep.
How long's the lease for?
That is a good question. Let me ask. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. That would be important.
It might be in the Board of Assessment Review demand response. I don't have internet access. I'm gonna have to check on that.
Okay.
INEs were supplied for 22, 23. I'm gonna have to get a copy. I apologize, I don't have how long. Here. I will find that out.
Okay, all right, that, yeah,
Okay.
that would be
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
And, let's just see. Are you basing the request on strictly the numbers, I assume? Okay. Okay.
Variable rents are usually pretty.
Okay, all right, Matt?
We've got, sales comps, single tenant, medium-sized retail buildings. That said, I think income cap would be useful. So to the extent we can review the P&Ls, look at the ground lease, we'd love to do so.
Right, I'll get
There's a
that.
little middle ground, happy to work toward a mutually agreeable number.
I'll grab a copy of the ground lease on that.
That sounds good.
Should have with the Board Assessment Review response 3 years of income. So you can see all the income and expenses.
In
that
what
Board
was-
Assessment Review.
Sure,
Yep.
okay, that sounds good. I'm sure. All right, so you have down what we're looking for then? Okay, beautiful. Yeah. Matt's giving us all, probably good to have. Okay to move on to the next one then?
I think it was for them. All right, we can move on to the next auto zone.
Well, no, go, if you've got something else you want to add.
All right, I'll go back and check. Since I can't keep up. All right, anyway, we can go on to the next auto zone.
As far as internet access is concerned, something popped up on my phone the other day, so you can get it, right?
I
Is
don't
it a
know what
public-
the password is. Do you happen to know what the Wi-Fi password is?
I could totally hotspot if
Yeah, I think there's like guest internet throughout
That's-
City
that's
Hall
what
with
it's-
no password.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. I didn't get on it, but, because I would like you to have that, I mean, if you're able to access some of the stuff, this way you don't have to send it.
No, that's fine. Let me see what I can do.
What are we looking for? If it has to
The
do with
ground
19.
lease. Do you have the Board of Assessment Review demands? I think the ground lease was actually attached to the Board of
Oh,
Assessment Review demand.
yeah, no, it wasn't in
No?
anything I was able, well, I'm not able to see everything prior to, but
Okay, so CoStar report, lease, it was part of the Board of Assessment Review package. And the lease is. Commencing of term, 15 years.
15-year ground lease?
With
Huh.
4 extension periods. Yeah, I know, it's short, but
Yeah.
then four periods. Now, it just started in 2020.
Really? Okay. So the building was built in 14, I want to say?
Or it was, but for this one is dated 2020, so something must have occurred in between there. But there's 15 years after the commencement date, unless, terminated. Extension, 4 years extension, but it's 4 or 5 year extension, 5 year extension. So you have the lease.
No, but I'm,
It's in the Board of Assessment review.
yeah,
You
somebody,
guys have
somebody
the
must
lease.
be able to get, yeah, I'm confident they'll get it before my eyes.
Yeah.
And if not, I know where to find you.
Okay, it's it's in the Board of Assessment review demand, so I see
Yeah.
the letter there, so it's starting at page like 14 or whatever. Page 13, so you have it.
Yeah, I just put my finger on it. Okay,
All right,
yep, I got that. I got the lease.
Awesome,
Okay.
thanks.
good.
All right, beautiful. So I think we're good there. Anything else? I can't remember now. Anything other than the lease that we requested?
Sales comps he has for the medium-sized retail, income and P&Ls, there's a couple of years already submitted to the board too, so make sure he does get that, okay?
Great,
'Cause that will
thanks.
help with the determination.
Yes. Okay. Sounds like we probably have what we need then. Okay, very good. Next one up I have is 1900 Grant Boulevard. Okay.
Same thing here, this is an auto zone, a little bit bigger, 9,800 square feet, give or take.
Let me
Oh,
just-
you're gonna read
let me-
it.
Yeah, let me
Sorry.
read in some numbers. So again, 1900 Grant Boulevard, we've got current tentative assessed value of $920,000 with a land value of $277,825. We've got owner's estimate of value $115,000, which would be a assessed value of $66,125. Okay.
All right, this is, like I said, another auto zone, about 9,800 square feet. Included in the Board of Assessment review was the ground lease, CoStar property report, property data card, I&Es for 22 and 23, additional information in the letter, and then here's another I&E, pro forma, just showing you where our basis lies, same as the prior one.
See the lease, so I'm sure we've got everything that we need. And Matt?
Love to review the data. We're going to ask to dismiss with prejudice. This was a subject of litigation for several years. We settled last year. Got a freeze under 727 through, I believe, 2028, maybe 27. So this one shouldn't be challenged.
Okay, so you're requesting dismiss with prejudice?
Yes, please.
Was 727 carved out for the revale?
I think the period was going to end prior to the likely outputs of the reval. I'll double check. I think 24, 25, 25, 26, and 26, 27 were the 3 years frozen.
I will let the owners know.
3068 was new, so there was no request on that.
Yes, 3068. 3068 is new to us, so that's no objection there.
Becca, anything you want to add?
No, I will confirm that, and I will take a look, okay?
Very good. Okay, then we have 600 James Street. So the first two were auto zones. This is Lifestyle Apartments. The next several. Wondering, should I read all of these in together? Okay.
Two on this one, correct? 600. Which one do you want?
Well, I've got several under Lifestyle Apartments,
Yeah,
but I can read in just the next two.
that's
It's-
fine. Yeah, let's start.
Okay, all right. So that's going to be 600 James Street and 300 North McBride. I'll read in at the same time. Okay, once again, 600 James Street. Current tentative assessment is $2,200,000 with a land value of $70,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $275,000, which would be a assessed value of $158,125. And the next one to read in is 308 North McBride Street. The current tentative assessed value here is $60,000 with a land value of $60,000. So this must be a parking lot.
Yeah, that one, the 308 is correct.
Okay. And current, and property owner estimates the fair market value at $7,500, which would be $4,312.50 assessed value.
Yep.
And we'll call that 4313.
All right.
Okay.
So this is a 7-story apartment building, 62 units, 30 studios, 26 one-bedroom, 7 two-bedroom. Total square footage is about 41.6. In this Board of Assessment review, we did provide a 2024 I&E, 2025 rent roll, sample lease, CoStar report, Loop Knot property report, and other information regarding the property. So this was based on income, as it is an income-generating property.
And how many are rented? Is it in tough shape? Or?
I don't think it's in very tough shape, no. If you look at the rent roll, which I can pull up,
I'm just trying to get where we're so far apart is all.
well, I will say that generally speaking, apartments are tougher to value these days because the gap is very large in what income is and how facilities are. So that's what I think. And large gap, you do know why that we put very low values on grievances. So just to reiterate, that's to protect us as attorneys. It'd be committing malpractice if we didn't put a very low value on it and something happened, God forbid there was any environmental that we missed. So that's why we do the 10%. That said, I think the I&Es, I think they support a reduction to a certain extent anyway. If you look at the I&E data that was provided.
Okay, all right. So at least I got a basis for
Yeah.
where you're, and I've seen the 10% before and I didn't zero in on it this time. So, okay, all right. So we got a little explanation there. And then the parking lot, how many cars?
Let's see, that I had, where did I look at that?
You said this was 22 units?
30.
30 units.
62 total units, 30 studios, 26 one-bedroom, and 7 two-bedroom.
Okay.
And let me get the number of spots for parking. That I don't know. I'm sure it's on, I don't think it'd be on here. I don't remember that being in any of the data, but I will ask.
Okay, all right. And Matt?
Broadly, we appreciate the data submitted for whatever it's, well, these are in litigation, so we'll refrain from saying too much about them. To the extent that there's a mic in front of me, these are two of a number of the Tim and Troy Green properties that they ran into the ground as they did their best to make a community a little bit worse for a few years while profiting. So CIG has purchased a chunk of their portfolio. I think they're in periodic contact with the Office of Corporation Counsel as part of this ongoing litigation, and I hope it goes productively.
And all right, and you just brought up another point as far as that was concerned.
This is occupied, by the way. I'm sorry. Many of these are vacant. This is a habitable. This is one of the better properties I think in the portfolio.
Okay, and just to refresh, obviously 3068 and 1900 are not in litigation.
No,
Correct.
1900 was settled.
Okay,
Now, what are the other ones that are in litigation?
Everything in the CIG portfolio and the price right at 1625 Erie. I don't know if that's one of yours, Becky. Okay. Yeah, so just from this point forward, just the CIG properties. And I believe petitions were only filed on 24.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Okay. And so again, 3068, no, 1900, no. How about 600?
600, yes, that is the first of the batch
Okay.
on which Article 7s were filed last year.
Okay, 600 and 308.
600 through 438 Jamesville.
Okay, very good. Okay, very good. I just wanted to get up to speed on that. Okay to move on to next one? Yeah. Okay, so I have 132 Highland Ave. Should I read in 941 also?
Yes, all these three together are related.
Okay,
Is this one's in litigation?
Yeah, I think it's two apartment buildings and the parking lot behind on Highland. I believe this
that
also is
includes
occupied.
923 James also then.
Yes, that whole 923, 941, and 132 are also in litigation, so we can just kind of,
All right, very good. So we have 132 Highland Ave. Current tentative assessed value, $2,500 with land value of $2,500. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $312, which would be an assessed value of $179.40. We'll call that 179. That property is in litigation as well. Next property is 941-47 James Street. Current tentative assessed value, $2,400,000 with a land value of $315,100. Petitioner believes fair market value is $300,000. That would be an assessed value of $172,500. And then the last of this batch, 923 James Street. Current tentative assessed value, $1,560,000, with a land value of $145,300. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $195,000, and the assessed value is $112,125. And once again, 132 Highland Ave, 941-47 James Street, and 923 James Street are currently in litigation. Okay. What can you tell us about those?
okay, these are, this is a three-story apartment complex with a parking lot, 135 units, 89 studios, 46 one-bedrooms, about 41,000 square feet, give or take 42. 24 I&E, 25 rent roll provided, sample lease, CoStar, LoopNet, all the data was provided. If there's anything else, these were acquired in 2023. But since they're the subject of litigation, that's probably something the city is looking at closely.
There was a fire there, did you say?
No, I said because there's a recent sale.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I think that's probably why the litigation is persisting too, because there is a 2023 sale for these.
Okay. Matt?
Same, these were purchased from a distressed seller. I think we continue to work with opposing counsel to get to some equitable resolution on these.
Okay. So next up, I have 80709 Lodi, probably 805 along with it.
807, 805, 753 James are the three that are related to this. This one's a little different and not in litigation.
Also in litigation.
Oh, it is? Okay,
is.
all right. Sorry.
These three
Hey, that's okay.
these three are in litigation.
Yes, two parking lots on Lodi and the Skyline.
But this one's vacant.
This is vacant.
This is the vacant common name for these?
For the entirety of the portfolio?
Well, for this particular one,
This is the skyline.
this is Skyline.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
With the Regal Beagle downstairs? My husband, when we first met, lived there, actually.
Oh, the skyline?
We used to go down to the Regal Beagle, just the two of us before we had kids. I did not bring my children there.
Where, is it in that building? Okay.
Great. It looked just like it. So we called it the Regal Beagle.
I don't know if I've ever been in that building, to tell you the truth.
To one time, very nice.
It was beautiful.
Yes, back in the
Good
day.
Korean place on the ground floor up until very recently, yeah.
And across the street, you had the other one,
Yeah.
what was it
It
called? A lot of my law
was
school friends lived
called, had a good old-timey bar in there with a,
there. Karen's?
it was Karen's Catering operated out of
but what was the
the
restaurant? Julie's.
Now it's
Julie's.
a-
It
yeah,
was Julie's.
Now it's a Tilio's.
Is it
A
a
lot of
Julie's
friends in
there?
law school who lived in that building. It was a really nice bar, yeah.
Not like the Regal Beagle.
Matter
So
of fact,
anyway, this is Skyline. I knew it was, but
yeah.
they're doing some work to it, which is
Lou
good.
Santero said that property was going up for sale or is up for sale.
The Regency?
Yeah.
All right. Keep my eyes peeled. It's a great property.
Yeah. He's the one that runs the skyline, and he was considering, I think. Okay, so let me read these three and then 80709 Lodi Street. Current tentative assessed value 17,900 with a land value of 17,900. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $2,237, which would be a assessed value of $1,286.27.5. And we'll call that 1286. Uh, 885 Lodi Street, current tentative assessed value 20,925, with the land value of 20,925. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $2,615, which would be an assessed value of $1,503, 0.625. I just want to correct one thing. Then we have 753 James Street, Skyline Apartments building. Current tentative assessed value $8,850,000, with a land value of $850,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $1,106,250, which would be a equatable assessed value of $636,093.75. Okay, and what can you tell us about this?
This is the now vacant Skyline. 12-story apartment unit. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with it. 63 studios, 297 one-bedrooms, and 7 two-bedrooms. Leasing will begin, I'm told, in the spring of 2025. We provided the 2024 INE, CoStar, LoopNet, municipal property cards, evaluation analysis was included in the packet, just so you have that as well, so that's already in your folder. Also has a sale. Sale was for 12 million, give or take. The assessment, full value is about 15. So there was a sale for this one as well, which I'm sure the city has all the information on, but if you need anything else, let me know.
Yeah, this was a Greens property.
This was another one that the Greens really ruined with the blocks around it. I think there was some assumption of mortgage or something involved here as far as that sale data point. Could be mistaken. I should probably have that in hand. But yeah, I think the building was inherited with some tenancy that needed to be removed. Physical plant obviously needs some attention, and it's been vacant for a period of time. I haven't been over there in a few weeks, but I wasn't aware of any permits out or any work occurring. But I mean, that would be wonderful to hear if there is some lease up anticipated in the near future. We're in the midst of a housing crisis and need all the quality units online we can get, especially in such a great location. So again, look forward to continuing to work constructively through John with opposing counsel, get this one resolved.
So it's not like it's going to be a total rehab of everything then, that doesn't sound like.
Not yet. If they're releasing in late spring, they're probably doing cosmetic stuff at this point.
It's a
I have not been
bomb-proof
there.
building. I mean, it is cast-in-place concrete. It might not need more than cosmetic work in many units.
We know what the plan is for high-end.
Yeah, no, this is the most news I've heard on this in half a year. I'm intrigued.
You're asking, or that's what you?
No, I'm
Asking. Yeah.
I can ask.
There sure is a need for mid-market units 7 blocks from downtown. That would be terrific. I don't know what. I mean, not to take it too far into the weeds, but if it were some kind of a LIHTC project, I'm sure our office would have heard of it already because we would have had to go to council and get approval. So I assume it's something that's income, not income restricted,
Oh, so that was, okay, that's what you said.
but that's just an educated guess.
Make more money these days. Those income restricted properties are killing me right now. I don't even get it.
Yeah.
Off the record.
Off the record.
Off the record, but
Unmiked.
I'm struggling with low income right now myself. All right.
All right. Looks like the last two are related. 420
Yep.
Jamesville, 483 Jamesville. Okay. All right.
All right. Oh, you read.
Yeah, I'll read those. 420 Jamesville. We have a current tentative assessed value of $2,880,000 with a land value of $98,300. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $360,000. That would be an assessed value of $207,000. And then we have 483 Jamesville Ave. Current tentative assessed value $5,070,000 with a land value of $218,300. Current tentative is, property owner's estimate of fair market value $633,750. That would be an assessed value of $364,406.25. Okay. Just to go back, the ones we just talked about, Skyline, not in litigation.
Those are, yes.
Those
Yes.
are in litigation also.
Yeah.
1 year.
Okay. And that's 753 James, 805, and 80709 Lodi.
Correct.
Okay. And then how about 923 James?
Both in litigation, just 1 year.
23 and 94147.
Yes.
Okay. And then we talked about 600 James, McBride Highland litigation also. So the only two not in litigation are 306 Erie Boulevard and 1900 Grant Boulevard.
Correct.
Okay. All right, sorry about that. Okay, Rebecca, anything you want to add on these?
So is this one also in litigation?
Yes,
I
these
thought
are the
so.
two properties that make up
The Vincent
Yes.
apartments. I had friends who lived there too.
And
Okay,
a
so
lot
this-
of people
a
seem to
lot,
live in the
yeah.
Vincent over
At
the
some
years.
point in their life, I did not, but at some point in their life, I think 90% of my Buffalo friends, okay, or law school friends did live there. Okay, so this is also vacant. This is not related to the lifestyle apartments either. This is vacant. At some point, this will likely be student housing, given its proximity to campus. This is 8 three-story buildings, 267 units total, 131 one-bedrooms, 136 two-bedrooms. Looking to lease spring 2025 again, so they're moving through. Total thing is about 55,800 square feet. INEs for 2024 were provided, some valuation analysis was also submitted, sample lease, I believe, oh, maybe not a sample lease, but that's the skinny on that one, and that is also in litigation.
Matt?
Yeah, petitions filed last year on that one, only year since they purchased it, obviously. It does seem like it's intended to be positioned as student housing. There's been an offering memorandum circulating, highlighting the proximity to the athletic complex. They're really good buildings physically, again, well-built. To the extent that the neighborhood's a little bit frayed, that's because of this property over the last decade. It's vacant now, been the site of some headaches, I think, for my colleagues in codes and fire, but once there's some occupancy there, I suspect that tide is going to lift some boats.
There was,
Was this a green deal also?
It was.
I thought I remembered that Vincent as that.
this one also, there was a sale. Purchased it for 5.5 roughly in 2023.
Yeah, we'd characterize that as distressed. I don't remember off the top of my head the number on the OM, but I think it's some multiple of that.
So we had, I'm just for my own edification, on Greens was Vincent, Skyline. Was there something else in here?
I believe Chestnut Crossing and 600 James. Those were all green properties at one time, and various different. It might have been the same entity. Either way, all principally owned by the Greens. 2 complexes currently occupied, 2 currently vacant.
Okay. Anybody else have any general questions or, Rebecca, anything you want to add in macro or?
Following through with all its investigation into the sale price, and it worked out. So,
Yeah.
could you share a copy? Do you have a copy of that AutoZone settlement? I was able to fire off a quick email to,
Yeah, I think these guys were in touch with Scott Becker. Scott Becker handled it for whom? I don't know. I mean, the client, obviously. Did you guys get with Scott last week about 1900 grand? He said he was going to get back with his client, and yeah. Would you mind forwarding Becky a copy of that stip? I have it handy, but you might get to it faster than I do.
all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Want me to just leave this here for the next? Or am I it? Am I like the
Oh no.
class of your day?
You're the easy part of the
I'm
morning.
easy pa- I try, Matt.
Yes, you were, well, yes.
I try to be good. Whatever you guys need, you know where to find me. Is that it? Any other questions?
I think we're good, yeah. No, that was excellent, and
Thanks.
appreciate
Good
all
to see
the
you.
information.
Anything you guys need, obviously. Didn't have to bring the kids this time, though. That's
Yes.
the first
Same.
in how many years? They
Same,
actually
despite
made
their
it.
best efforts this morning.
Actually funny because,
I know, I do have a phone call in a little bit.
I was gonna say funny because you got some snow out there,
We
right?
do a little bit. Fulton actually closed, which stinks because we were supposed to play them in hockey tonight. But yeah, right in our backyard, but we're fine, actually. This is the first time I've made it downtown without crying and swearing at you people. I'm kidding. Every year there's a snowstorm. I've never
Oh.
been.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
You know
that's just
why?
a daily occurrence.
Well, there's that. There's it. No, because usually it's later. You guys usually have my case later in February.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming in.
No.
You're welcome.
Could be the first attorney who's ever liked the idea. Late February. Usually get pretty negative feedback about that.
I don't mind it at all. It's just funny because I think every year I kind of bring my kids to school either shuts down. It's February in upstate
Yeah.
New York. This is what happens. Even though we've had better winters, of course it happens.
Yeah.
All about timing.
Yeah.
I love that hat, by the way.
More snow this year than in the last 4 years. I can tell you that.
Right.
I can tell you
And
that.
And ice.
if you ever
not
get one,
ice.
you get the palms separately. So
Oh.
they're interchanged.
Yeah.
This is my daughter.
We're gonna hang for a bit, right?
Yeah.
Keeping my
Yeah, I don't, the
cats
next
from
one
winter to
actually
another, like the next
yeah.
winter.
showing
I'm
it,
gonna wear my hats.
It's a thing.
But I have one that's like that similar color with the same color pound on the top that's
Yeah.
Bill's.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh,
I see, he's got his arms crossed, so there's gonna be trouble, I think.
so tired.
I'd let you use my glasses, but they're not very helpful.
So Monica's up. Can you read that?
Uh-huh.
The next hearing is scheduled for 10:20 a.m. It's 9:55. Thank you.
Does she do shirts too? or-
I don't know if she's a shirt, but follow her, 'cause she will often
Yeah.
post other people, she works closely with, Christina Castellano, who's a teacher out in Buffalo, who has like this, shopping, women's.
Yep.
And she posts a lot of her stuff on there, so she may, I just don't know.
Yeah. The reason why I ask is when we do Disney, I
Yeah.
always like have like
Oh,
shirts
shirts
made up and
done?
everything.
Yeah.
And the person that used to do them for me, because she was a Bills fan,
Yeah.
but she actually moved back to Florida
Oh,
and
so-
isn't doing it anymore. And so we have one coming up in May,
Yeah.
and I want to combine some sort of Disney and Bills stuff.
That's
what I do.
Work with, like for my hockey stuff, pretty cool. That's an interesting combo.
Yeah.
Ask her.
Yeah.
What her specialty is, like she'll take like old Coach,
yeah.
Louis Vuitton purses
Yeah.
and things and do that kind of stuff, but pretty crafty, so. All right, everybody, thank you.
Drive safe.
Oh, she's doing awesome. She loves it down there. She started the season yesterday. 2 goals, kicking butt and taking names, Dean's List. She's doing really good.
gonna say it started up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, although Virginia Tech doesn't come up here, because in the ACC added those California teams, now she's gotta go out to California. So she's not even playing Boston College up here, not Syracuse, not Pitt, all the games that I could go to. I'll be in Blacksburg for the most part. I guess it's nice. They play JMU this, Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday? Wednesday. That's gonna be, they're always good.
What year?
Sophomore, she just finished her fall year of fall semester for sophomore.
That's good. Well, keep
How are your
us
kids
posted.
doing?
Good.
Yeah,
My son's in business with me. We opened up a
Nice.
PNC practice.
nice.
He was with
Cool,
and so we're just transitioning.
nice.
And my daughter actually just started on her master's, healthcare management. So she should be done in January. So they're both doing well.
You wanna come back here, like, so your daughter wants to work, where is she getting her master's?
They're here.
You're like, they're already here, they're not leaving.
They're in my house.
Oh, good.
Driving his car.
Believe me, when you said they come back here, oh, they come back
They're
every
here,
night.
okay.
They come back nightly for dinner.
Well, I know it's kind of one of those things, but at least they can't come home.
Yes, yes. All right, well, drive carefully.
All right, guys, take care. Bye.
Bye.
It's like, they're gonna go at some point, and then you're gonna be sad.
Yeah.
So, I have no problem with it at all. None whatsoever.
Oh.
So our next one shouldn't be for 20 minutes. That doesn't mean that they won't come a little bit earlier, but a good little break time.
What do you mean, it shouldn't be 20 minutes long, or?
No, I'm saying
In 20
that
minutes.
they're not due here till 10:20.
Yeah, they might be here at 10
But
a.m.
then,
Yeah.
Sure. Yep, no problem.
now the next one has a number of them.
Okay. You want me to take those?
I'll wait till they show up.
Yeah, right. You know how I know it? Understood. Oh, did you ever hear back from that person? It was a no-show, I believe, on Friday.
No, I'll try calling later, but.
I must have just gotten it. Well, like the tie was an accent, but the accent really makes the pin pop.
I think you all just wanted to match my cup.
Marvel's not worth it. I have to see her for Marvel more. Yeah, I saw Kendrick. Which is amazing. That's what I was there for. It was bedtime. They really should just turn it super cool. Like a concert and then just like keep the clock running instead of stopping it every 5 seconds.
John Baptiste.
Extra solo. Oh, it's 27. He's going to be appearing. Going to be second chairing for Grievous here.
All right, if you want to have a seat. Oh, of course. So they get back from the bathroom? They'll call you up.
Good service. Didn't have to wait at all. Walk right in. Yes, one of them has two very small parcels that's included. So I have a Wakefern parcel, and there's 2 extra spaces, and there's an AT&T, and there's 2 7-Eleven cases. And that- that makes sense, yeah. And I'll be withdrawing one of them, but we can get to it. Whatever you guys want to start with is fine with me. I have Wakefern. For some reason I thought Wakefern was first, but whichever is fine with, whatever works for you guys is best. Okay.
Okay, back in session, it's about 10:13. If you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
Nicholas Connolly.
Do you affirm to tell the truth and give accurate information to the best of your ability? Okay, great, thank you very much. All right, so in the order given to me, we've got 1625 Erie Boulevard East. Okay, yeah, so this is Agree Stores LLC?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm going to read in some information and then we'll get into that. So this is, at this point, standalone, nothing, we don't have to read anything else in
That's
along
correct.
with
Yes,
this.
it's just this parcel.
Okay, all right. And so what is this?
Oh, this is this is occupied by a Price Right supermarket.
Okay,
A Price Right supermarket. Wakefern net leases this property. It's 36,360 square foot of space.
all right, let me just read in some
Sure.
numbers, but that was
Okay.
fine. I just wanted to know a little bit, and you did that. So current tentative assessed value of $3,483,150 with a land value of $800,540. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $605,765, which would be an assessed value of $348,315. Okay, got a lot of information here, but yeah, if you can give us a little synopsis.
So Wakefern net leases this property. It's a 36,360 square foot supermarket, and then they sublease it to Price Right. We had provided, last week, we provided to the board the lease agreement dated December 9, 2011, a sublease to Price Right, and we also provided a valuation workup as to an opinion of value. We believe that this property should be valued in accordance with New York State property valuation for real estate tax purposes in accordance with the fee simple approach to value, which is absolute ownership unencumbered by any other interest or estate. And I'm happy to answer any questions that the board might have. I do believe that, I know we're here to discuss the current tentative assessment. I do believe that there is a pending matter for last year that, you know, at a later time, I'd be happy to discuss with the assessor and or the town attorney, hopefully resolve both of these proceedings.
Okay, so we're in litigation for last year?
Yeah, petitions were filed, I think, for 2024 and only 2024 so far.
Anything,
We appreciate the provision of data. That's always great to have a complete grievance form submitted. I'm happy to keep the dialogue going. I know. I think our Office of Corporation Counsel probably has been in touch not sure that this is as active as some of our pending matters, but always happy to chat.
Okay. So that's something that you're getting together on or will get together on.
Definitely.
Okay. All right, very good. Then I will go on to the next. And this is Ainsley Drive. So this is standalone also, as far as, yeah. Just so we
Yes,
don't-
that's correct. Yep.
Okay. All right, so this 314-16 Ainsley Drive. Let me just write something here. This is number 14 for our purposes. So let me read in some number information. Current tentative assessed value of $4,070,000 with a land value of $515,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $707,826, which would be an equatable assessed value of $407,000. And I'm just handing out some paperwork on the last one that we just talked about. Put that in the file from the city. City submitted some comparable information on the prior property. Okay, so this one here, what is this building?
This building is a owner-occupied or owner-operated self-storage facility. It contains 732 self-storage units, and we have provided the income and expense information and the rent roll. We provided to the board last week. I believe that the income in 2023 was approximately $1.5 million. And as I said, 732 units, owner-occupied self-storage space on one parcel. And happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Matt, anything?
Sure. A couple of questions before the spiel. Sorry, what was the unit count that? Want to double check that our inventory is right.
Just according to the rent roll that we sent in, the rent roll contains 732 units.
732. Okay, sorry. So there might be. I mean, there sounds like there is an inventory
Yeah,
discrepancy there.
and that's upon just the rent roll itself.
Sure,
So
sure.
that's what I believe it is based on. The
And I
rent
know this is
rolls.
really a dynamic number with this property class. You know, it's easy to move a wall in a 5x10 unit.
There appears to be an inventory list here.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Last I was able to review the file. I didn't have access to any of that, so this is great. Broadly, we reassessed the entirety of the property class of 442s of mini storage this past year. The backstory is tedious, but there were some discrepancies in our data collection historically over the years. Once we pulled the thread, we really needed to make sure everything was being equitably treated. That led to some dramatic assessment changes for pretty well every property in the city in this class. To the extent that we can refine what we've done, I mean, the staff did a wonderful job, I thought, on this analysis. But to the extent that we can refine this a little bit more with 360 degrees of data coming from property owners at this stage, we are eager to do so. So really look forward to reviewing. Wouldn't mind heading off litigation if we can, but want to get the number right, certainly on the back of what you've provided.
This is not currently in litigation?
Not currently in litigation.
Yes, right. Sounds good. Do you have anything you want to submit, Matt, on
I
this
did
one, or
submit
no?
simply an inventory sheet. Truth be told, we don't have a ton of sales comps in this market, and we'd be leaning heavily on the income capitalization approach for all of these properties. In this morning's Post Standard, there was actually a sale of 7711 Henry Clay Boulevard in Clay, 346 units, sold for $6,000,001, I think closed late last week. That's $17,063 a unit. That's, significantly more than we have this assessed for. That said, I'm sure there are adjustments that could be made. We'll look forward to having a look at the data.
And my apologies, what you gave, I thought went with this file here, so that's.
Oh, okay,
That's
yeah.
why I asked.
Yeah, no,
But it is now in the correct file.
beautiful.
Okay, sounds good. Next one I'm seeing is 500 Spencer Street. Would 422 go with it as well?
Correct. 3 parcels here.
And 430?
Yes,
Okay,
There's 3 parcels. It's lots 6, 9, and 10.
okay.
Lots ending in 6, 9, and
All right, so let me, with your approval, I'll read those 3 in at the same time. Okay. Okay, first one of these, this batch of 3. 500 Spencer Street. Current tentative assessed value, $5,000 with a land value of $5,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $870, which would be an assessed value of $500. Next one, 422 Spencer Street. Current tentative assessed value, $28,000 with a land value of $25,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $4,870, which would be an assessed value of $2,800. Next one, 430 Spencer Street. Current tentative assessed value, $2,370,000 with a land value of $383,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $412,174, which would be an assessed value of $237,000. Okay, what can you tell us about these 3?
Well, these are 3 parcels. They constitute one economic unit. One of the parcels, which is Lot 9, contains the actual property improvements, which is, once again, a self-storage facility. This one contains 314 units, according to the rent roll, once again. And the 2 neighboring parcels, which is Lot 6. Lot 6 is comprised of vacant land, and Lot 10 contains, I believe, a small parking lot. So the 3 parcels in total come to an equalized fair market value of $4.2 million. Once the assessments are added up and divided by the equalization ratio, comes to $4.2 million. As I said, 2 of the 3 are just supporting parcels without improvements on them. And for the 3 parcels, we did submit to the Board of Assessment last week an income and expense statement and a rent roll. Upon information and belief, there are no known environmental issues on the property. And again, happy to answer any questions.
And is that, you may have already said, is this in litigation?
No.
No. Okay.
It is not. In the case of 430, this was caught up in our 442 class reassessment this year. The other 2, without weighing in on whether they're part of the same economic unit, each was reassessed in recent years, not this year, as part of our cyclical lakefront land reassessments. But obviously, it's the mini storage is why we're here. Got a slight inventory discrepancy. Again, haven't had a chance to see P&Ls or rent roll yet, but really looking forward to doing so and developing a fuller opinion and analysis of what's going on with the property. Oh, I'm sorry. We've got 3 stacks, 3 properties, 4 sheets, 1 for each board member. Yeah, sorted by property, not by participant.
Just separate these out here. Information here. He has submitted some comp information. I want to put them in the correct files.
Really more inventory than comps. Just kind of a cheat sheet. We are.
Back real quick.
One has to, aside from that late last week sale in Clay, one has to go far and wide for recent mini storage comps in central New York. I think there's a recent one on Grant Avenue in Auburn, but these properties don't seem to trade in this part of the world very often for whatever reason.
They were, okay, next up, I have 403 Fayette. Would there be, I have 1000 West Genesee, and then 407 James, all separate read-ins,
all
if you will?
separate, yep.
Okay,
I just want to check something about one of them real quick.
yeah, sure.
Yes, if we could do 403 Fayette.
Yep. We can do that. I've got that up next anyway.
Okay. This is going to be withdrawn, so this, we are withdrawing this grievance.
All right, let me just read it in, and then I'll have you repeat that. Okay, so this is 403 East Fayette Street. This is telecom equipment. Current tentative assessed value $380,000. Land value 0. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $66,087 with an assessed value of $38,000. And I believe that you're withdrawing this petition.
That's correct. We are withdrawing this grievance. That's what I said, yeah, we're withdrawing the grievance.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Glad to hear it. I think this was the subject of litigation for a long time and was either discontinued last spring, summer, might have been dismissed, but
This was AT&T.
yeah, I think you and Carl have probably seen this property for many, many more years than I have. So
Yeah.
happy to not see it again after this moment.
Okay, so it's withdrawn at this point. Okay, very good. Okay. All right. Next property I have is 407 James Street. Just find the petition here. Okay. 407 James Street is a gas station. Current tentative assessed value $870,000 with a land value of $250,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $151,304. $151,304. I just had this different on the sheet here. What's the assessed value off of that, anybody?
Tentative assessed is $870,000 for 25.
Right. Just wanted to know what the equatable assessed value is on 151,304. Well, the numbers I have don't match up. I've got the,
I get 1,513 even for the full market, but I always stand to check the math.
You're asking for the assessed value of the claimed market value?
yes.
Ah,
Yeah,
sorry.
that would be, it's a 57.5 ratio, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it'd be 87,000.
Full market value is what's off. Okay, again, current tentative $870,000 with a land value of $250,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $151,304, which would be an assessed value of $87,000. Go ahead with that one.
407 James Street is a owner-occupied convenience store with a gas station. It's owned by 7-Eleven. It has a 2,000 square foot convenience store, and the gas station has 8 fuel pumps. We submitted the income and expense information, Board of Assessment review. The property was not purchased within the last 3 years. It has not had any major renovation work performed on it. There are no mortgages on the property, and the property is self-insured, and the applicant is not claiming any environmental contamination at this time, and happy to answer any questions that you might have.
This one admittedly seems to be in the sweet spot of the Venn diagram as far as reassessments go. Conceding, of course, that many municipalities do reassess every property every year. In Syracuse, by and large, we don't, but these guys have seen a change 3 out of the last 4 years, whether through Neighborhood 58 Prospect Hill neighborhood reassessment project or a citywide convenience store with fuel cells reassessment project. We raised them $60,000 this year to $870,000. We've provided comps to the board. The property itself conveyed January of 18 for $1,423,000. Full market now is ahead of that, but I don't think it really outpaces. I don't think the delta between the sale price and the current full market outpaced the trend of the last 6-7 years. But that said, yeah, three changes in 4 years is probably a lot for grievance to stomach.
Hence the petition. Okay. Anything else you want to add on that, sir? No? Okay. All right. And then I believe the last property that you have is 1,000 West Genesee Street. And let me just get the petition here. Great, thank you. No problem. No problem, thank you. Okay, this here is a convenience store at 1,000 West Genesee Street. Current tentative assessed value, $1,100,000, with a land value of $639,000. We have a property owner's estimate of market value of $191,304, and that would be an assessed value of $110,000. Was correct on here. Making sure the numbers are correct. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll turn it over to you.
Similar to the last property, this is an owner-occupied 7-Eleven convenience store with a gas station. This one contains 3,520 square foot convenience store with 12 fuel pumps. The property's income and expense information was submitted to Water Assessment Review last week. The property is not purchased within the past 3 years. Has not had any major renovation work performed on it. There are no mortgages on the properties, and the property is self-insured, and the applicant is not claiming any environmental contamination at this time. Happy to answer any questions.
The prior one, this one, no litigation or anything at this point. And, okay. Matt, you submitted some information.
Yeah, we again submitted inventory background and comps. As agreement notes, 12 dispensers, convenience store with fuel sales. No change for 2025, increased 12, perhaps 10% for the 2024 roll. Property conveyed in January of 18 for $1,354,000. Again, current assessment suggests we're higher than that with the drop in the EQ rate. But depending on whether you're valuing based on square foot of building area or on a hold basis, I think we're pretty well bracketed by the sales comps in the area. Well-located convenience stores with fuel sales sell on the market for a pretty good price.
Anything you want to add?
Nothing else at this time. We provided income and expense information. If you have any further questions, we're happy to, maybe now or in the coming days, we're happy to, get back to you and respond as best as we can.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. And then, I didn't let Rebecca know, I forgot about when we send out the notices. But, this is kind of extra information gathering. We will go thoroughly through all the
Yeah.
files, that information.
Yep, we're happy to answer any questions you have in the coming days, to help you come to any conclusion.
Okay, that sounds great. And then, if nothing else, the city will send out separate notices the first week of April. During that first week, I think they go in the mail usually by April 1st. All right, well, that sounds good. Thank
All
you
right,
very much
thank
for
you.
coming
Thank
in.
you
Yeah,
all. Thank
appreciate
you all.
it.
Thank you.
And I'm sure, but I remembered and forgot the retailer, so. Thanks again, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, these two gentlemen right here would, yeah, John and Trevor are our points on tax search. I would be happy to talk.
Okay, 711-21, 1925 North Salina. Good morning, how are you? Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Have a seat. Swear you both in a minute here. You're here for two properties. Are they related?
They're not related.
Not related. Any particular order?
One, we're actually withdrawing our grievance application on, so we're only going to be discussing one property this evening.
North
Okay.
Salina.
Okay, fair enough. So we'll get 711-21 Erie Boulevard East out of the way then. So let me swear you both in if I could. If you could both raise your right hand. State your name for the record.
Danny DeVudi.
Michael Spellman?
Do you affirm to tell the truth and give accurate information to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. All right. This happens to be in the order on the sheet as well, so let me just make a note here. So let me just read in 711. I understand this is the one that you're withdrawing, but 711-21 Erie Boulevard East. Let's see here. What is this? Just briefly.
Based on my prior knowledge, I believe it's a Bridgestone Firestone tire shop.
Okay.
On over fair.
All right. So current tentative assessed value of $400,000 with a land value of $337,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $160,000, which would be an equatable assessed value of $92,000. And this one here, what would you like to do?
We're not submitting additional information on. We're going to be withdrawing our application, not seeking
Okay,
it.
so you're going to withdraw the application
Yes.
for this property?
Correct.
Would the board like these for the file?
Yes, please, thank you. These are just comp information that the city's submitting. But I made a note that this application has been withdrawn. All right, very good. We'll go on to the next one. Let me just read in some information, and then I'll turn it over to you. This is 319-25 North Salina Street. And what is this?
This is a mixed-use building comprised of both commercial tenants and residential tenants.
Okay. And nearest cross street.
I believe it's Salt Street. The intersection roads are Salt Street, and there's a parking lot in Pearl Street. It overlooks I-81. It's on the north side.
Okay. Okay, I know where you are. Current tentative assessed value, $1,141,000 with a land value of $60,000. Petitioner believes the fair market value is $456,400, which would be an equatable assessed value of $262,430. Okay. Just a little bit about this property, occupants, so on and so forth.
Yeah, based on that information, we actually prepared an income capitalization analysis that has updated, requested assessed value and market value, if you would like that to be reflected first.
Sure.
So our asking assessed value is 479,845, which would translate to a market value of 834,513.
Okay, so let me just have you make changes to that and initial it if you would.
This property is right next to the Helio Health on North Salina.
Yes. Okay, so if I'm standing in Helio Health's parking lot.
On the left.
You're on the left-hand side, and if I'm looking at 81,
Right.
left-hand side.
So Helio Health is connected right to our building. I mean, Helio Health parking lot
Correct.
connected to our building.
Okay. I am very familiar with that. And so, have you come in before?
Yes, I attended this last year.
Yeah, okay.
So we're prepared to make the same presentation to you. We have updated financial information that you could use to review the property and requesting this analysis based on the income parameters that my client presented to me.
I think the argument last year was people outside and
Yes.
so on and so
So
forth.
the owner
and
of the.
Not
member-
disputing it, I'm
The-
just
yeah, no.
remembering.
So Mr. DeVuti is a member and owner of the LLC who operates that entity, and he's here today to discuss that in greater detail.
All right, let me just look at a couple things real quick. And, yeah, appreciate you, if you could just put your initials on
Sure.
here. Yeah, thank you. Okay, yeah, because I think it was just yourself last year.
Correct.
Yeah, so we can get a little bit more information. Sorry to hand this back, but if you could just cross off the old numbers.
Oh, sure.
Just don't want to mark up your writing.
Yep.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And so you're part of the LLC?
Yes.
Okay. And just give me a little synopsis of the building layout, if you will.
Well, one of the main problem was because of Helio Health right there, they all hang out and they all come in the building, they try to sleep in the building, and the drug use is out of control. So when we took over this building about 2018. It was nice. We used to get family putting applications. We had people with jobs, and they actually wanted to live there. But now, a lot of people that have kids, family and stuff, either they're leaving, or once they come and we show them the empty apartments, they just won't take it.
Yes. When you took over the building in 2018,
Right.
I don't think Helio Health was there.
Helio Health has just came in. I think the owner sold it to us maybe because he knew what's coming in. We had no idea, honestly. But over the years, it's just getting worse and worse. And now, with the drug use, prostitutions, homeless people coming in, sleeping in the hallways. So what we did last year, they keep breaking the doors and getting in. So we hired a company to put cameras and security and all of that. We ended up putting steel doors, intercom, camera system, that we can actually talk to the people standing by the door. and they still broke the door. They still broke. We have two side doors. One of them, they actually brought a crowbar, and with a crowbar, they actually cracked it open. And the other thing happening is, because so many drug use, we found out last year one of the tenants that rented is actually a drug dealer.
Okay.
And we got so many. First, we lost maybe 5 tenants just because of that tenant. Then second, we saw the traffic on the camera. Now we have the camera system and we see the camera. We contact the precinct, we contact the police department, and there's nothing they can do. They say, listen, you have to go through the process of eviction, and eviction took us 4 months. And I told them, okay, what about the drug use? What about the drug deal? Look at I even sent them the videos. I said, look, there is, today only in this apartment, there was 75 people came in and out. One day, 75 people.
Is that occupant still there?
We just evicted them.
So are they gone, or you're starting the process?
No, they're gone. But this is what happened then. So the person that was actually selling drugs, now she made friends with other tenants, and then we saw her going into another apartment, making a business in the other. So now we have to evict the other apartment, because now they became friends and they both want to make money. So what she does is she offers them. She actually offered me a good amount of money to rent. She said, I'll give you double the rent. Let me stay.
She's in her location.
Yeah. So these are the issues. Honestly, I never come to these meetings. This is my first time. But I said, let me just come. Let me explain to them what's going on. I have now 37%.
Yeah, and I think what Mr. Devoody is alluding to, we have information, the past 3-year rent rolls and income and expense statements that I could furnish to the board. There's, based on that. The residential units, as Mr. Devoody alluded to, over 35% of the units are either currently vacant in eviction proceedings, or they're not currently paying. And as well for the commercial units, one of those are currently vacant and one is in eviction proceedings as well. And in my analysis, I'm not, the latest rent roll, as I indicated, reflects that number of vacancy, but I'm not using that. So I think it's just indicative of what Mr. Devoody has been challenged with, and that information should supplement what he just articulated. There are 25 rental units total, and then on the first floor, there are 5 commercial units. Right?
5 space
Yep.
commercial space.
Yep, and then,
One of them is very small. She's up for eviction. Now, for example, that tenant complains. She says, all these drugs keep knocking on the door, asking for money, and they want to come in. So she stopped paying rent, and we're starting eviction about 3 months ago. She's on eviction. So either they don't pay or we have to evict them. And then it's getting hard to get tenants.
Oh, yeah. No, so this gentleman presented, represented you well last year. But it was very good for you to come in
Thank
and
you.
convey.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, real problem.
I had meetings with Helio Health, and because I told them, I said, listen, you have to keep a control. What happens, they come out of Helio Health, and they're just hanging out. There's a park across the street, the benches, and they just sit there, they do drug use, they're just hanging out, I don't know. Now it's quieter because it's very cold. But once the weather breaks, but the other problem is when the weather is like this, they try to come in and sleep in the hallways. So when I spoke to the Helio Health, I said, listen, it got so bad, they hired their own police. So they're renting a police from Syracuse police. So what happens now? Police pushes them all away, and they all just come next to us. There are benches next to our building and across the street from the building, and they all hang out there. And you find needles, you find they throw their garbage. It's just getting out of control. And I don't know. I talked to the police department. The cops showed up. I said, listen, we've called you 3 hours ago. He says, well, we don't see anybody. I said, well, we called you 3 hours ago. So she said, let me show you something. It was a lady police officer. I said, she showed me the computer. She said, listen, we had 200 calls. So we don't go by who calls first. We go by priority. And yeah. So I guess if it's not shooting, not somebody shot or something, if you call them and somebody says, oh, the guy come here buying drugs or whatever, just they get there whenever they get there.
Yeah.
These are the issues.
Yeah, and I think Mr. Davuti does a good job of summarizing just the externalities that he's been facing, but I think it's also important to note that he's invested a lot in this property, as he alluded to, with the implementation of new security systems and just keeping track of it. So I think that's something to consider as well.
So I can attest to what you're saying. My daughter worked a short period at Helio Health. And she left there because she's going to graduate school. But the point is that on a few mornings, I had driven her to work. And as far as parking, they have a parking lot over across from
Helio
Columbus
Health.
Bakery.
Yeah.
Right, so she would park in that parking lot and then have to walk through all that. And I do, the police officers right there and all that good stuff, but no joke, that is what happened. That's what I experienced in the morning. So it's a real, and I think Helio Health is a great organization. It's just,
This area used to be called, I'm sure you know, Little
do.
Italy.
yeah.
And all those,
Learberries, when that was there, it was wonderful.
the restaurant right next to Helio Health, that was the first one gone.
That was Asti's.
Yes.
Yeah.
They closed right away. Within 6 months, they were closed. And they probably can't even get rid of the property if they want to sell it. So, and if you see it one by one, and honestly, I'm afraid this is going to happen to us.
Yeah, there'll come a point where, unfortunately, unless something happens, you're going to say, I'm just not going to deal with this anymore.
Absolutely. I mean, we're almost to that point. Because we spent almost $60,000 between the doors and the camera system. And I mean, at least we can see now what's going on. But if you can't do anything about it, what good is that? If the city doesn't help you, we had to wait 4 months to get, and she wasn't even a tenant. What happened is we rented it to somebody else, and she took a roommate.
Yeah, sure.
And then the tenant left,
And she squatted.
and she squatted. When we went in, when the marshal came in and we went in, there were 20 mattresses on the floors. People sleeping over.
And she wasn't a tenant, and you probably still couldn't get rid of her without going through the
So
process.
we saw one of the tenants. We have a guy, he's got 2 kids, okay? And we saw his kid went in that apartment. I called him, I said, what is your teenage kid doing going into apartment 22? It's a drug-infested apartment. He said, she's babysitting for me.
Oh, my. Wow. Are you local?
No, I'm in Long Island.
You're in Long Island.
That's where we ended up with the camera system. And we hire supers, they just keep quitting. They don't want to deal with it. Some of them are scared.
Oh, yeah.
I think we understand that the property, as Mr. Devuto alluded to, is in the historic area of Little Italy and downtown, but I think the financial information that we just provided, as well as his testimony, it's the belief why we believe the property to be overassessed and excessive. And I understand if you need to take some time to review that information that we just provided, but that's the synopsis of our review.
Yeah, no, I agree. I appreciate you consolidating. Yes, we got off on a little bit of a tangent, but I think it probably was needed. Matt, probably not hearing anything that you don't already know and what have you. So, any thoughts?
Yeah. I'm sympathetic to the situation in the upper Ninth Ward. I'd argue with a syllable of it if I could, but I'm not sure I can. The property, the block, seemed to be caught in a negative feedback loop. I know we grieved last year without pursuing a stipulation. We reduced, I believe, $209,000 to reflect what I thought were a true look through P&Ls at the quantifiable state of the property. Unfortunately, that wasn't sufficient. Petition was filed, so we're in litigation now. To some extent, our hands are tied on this. I'm not exactly proud to sit.
Is this in litigation?
This is in litigation, yeah. I'm not thrilled to sit here as the face of the city's dysfunction or societal dysfunction. But I do want to keep us focused on the dollars and cents. I mean, I think comps back up the value, and that, properties, mixed-use properties, 25-unit properties just don't trade on the open market for what's being requested. That said, the vacancy is how high right now?
9 out of 25
9 out of
residential.
25.
Yeah, and 2 out of the 5 commercial.
Starts to make the balance sheet look a little more red than black, I'm afraid. I don't know what one does about this. I mean, we need to some extent keep blinders on, and not to some extent, we need to keep blinders on and look at what the value is. But there is a real concern about a property in which the units are unleasable because of constant chaos going on not only outside the door, but routinely apparently coming through the door and driving up your cost of doing business.
All right, so let me just clarify so your understanding of our situation. Because it's in litigation, and John's here to attest, I think, because it's in litigation, these guys have to present to reserve their situation. But there's not a lot that we as a board can do, correct? Because it's in litigation, our hands are tied. And I feel bad about that. Last year it wasn't in litigation and we lowered it a little bit. Did I
Took
hear
down
that
from
correctly?
$1,350,000 to $1,141,000, I believe, which really, Grievant presented a really nice look through P&Ls, I think, at the state of the property. We gave that some serious thought and analysis and thought that just recommending that the board reduce it to that would be appropriate. We didn't pursue a stipulation, and that's how it goes.
I just wanted you to understand, because I understand exactly where you're coming from and have experienced different stuff like this as a property owner in the city over the years and what have you, but unfortunately, there's not a lot that we can do because it's now passed over the threshold of litigation, which I don't blame you, but,
If I were you, I'd be pursuing every avenue possible as well. I mean, this is a dreadful situation. That's not what you invested in the 300 block of North Salina to encounter. This is really deeply unfortunate.
So what happens?
So we file a petition, we review it, and then that's the next step in the process. This is just an informal appearance before the board where we introduce our evidence. And they only have a certain amount of externality to do it. So the next step is continuing to pursue.
because you're not crazily far away. per se.
I mean, we're
You know,
200% off. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd be hard pressed to find a 25 unit that's vacant around town that's selling for, low 20,000 a unit.
We don't have
but-
25 empty. We have,
Oh, no, I mean, that's what I mean. Even if it were a
9.
wholly vacant
We have
building,
9.
asking for 24,000 a unit is unusual.
they're not, no, 9 is not vacant. Either vacant or they're in process of,
so in effect, they will
right.
be.
We're not collecting, for sure. We're not collect- And on top of that, to be honest with you, we have a convenience store there, and the lease is up. I don't want to renew the lease, because what happens is all these druggies, they just go there and buy cigarettes and coffee, cigarettes and Pepsi and chips. And
I
they're
would say
hanging
if I were
out.
being more snarky, yeah, the way to stabilize a property on that block probably isn't a convenience store tenant, but you know that. Yeah, you're doing your best to get them out of there.
Yeah, so if you can get somebody in there that's maybe like that person that's moving out, what business is she in?
She does gift baskets. Her space is maybe 200 square feet, very small. Her rent is, I think, $550, not much. But the convenience store is a much bigger space. And
And could bring, could accommodate some of what you're trying to get rid of.
yeah, not just about the money, at least maybe we can clear these people out so they don't hang out. Summer, they're all hanging out over there. They're between cigarettes, chips, and soda. They all come from Helio Health and go right in, get a drink or something.
Yeah. From that standpoint, I mean, if you eliminate the convenience store, but to remove these people, that's definitely a police problem, correct?
I'd be
You know,
hard
I'm
pressed
just
to
saying
sit in this
that's
seat
nothing
and
that
say
the
that.
city departments can.
I mean, assessment are a little ill-equipped here.
Yeah.
I have seen, we've sat in this room and seen situations like this where properties get nuisance abated because of the effect they have on their
yeah.
neighbors, both
Yeah.
social and economic. What's going on over there adjacent to your property? You're not the only one going through this, and it seems to be crying out. I mean, that is the epicenter, as you've noted. The restaurant on the corner has been on the market for 6 years.
Benches are useless now because
That's the
I
trouble,
talked to
yeah.
people. They said, "Oh, this was a very nice place. They used to go get lunch and come there, sit and eat and stuff."
Yeah.
But now it's all druggies sitting there and shooting up drugs.
Yep. Bit by bit, the block falls off a cliff. The restaurant on the corner has been listed for 6 years. Price cut in half. Hasn't moved, I don't think. There's very little good happening over there, and it's apparent that there's one reason why.
So the Sniper Monument.
Yeah, the site, that's a beautiful little pocket park. City and state put a ton of money into streetscape improvements 15 odd years ago in those blocks, and they're not being used by anybody who's got a choice as to where to sit. It's really unfortunate.
Well, when I talked to the police officer, one of them says, "Oh, well, we know because they pushed them from where's that homeless shelter?
Yes.
It's down somewhere a couple of blocks away, or they feed them somewhere. There's a kitchen, something." Says, "Well, all the businesses they kept complaining, so they're pushing them away. Now they're all coming on this side."
Yes. That's true. Yeah, they stopped, I guess because that was a problem, so they stopped serving.
407
didn't they?
James Street, the 7-Eleven, who was in here earlier, had a problem over there. This is couldn't make it up. This is an odd and unfortunate situation.
Might be a situation where the property owners got to get together and,
I do know that there are some wonderful tenants in the 400 block, owner-ocs in the 400 block too, who I'm sure share your concerns, and maybe a brainstorming session might be in order.
Well, whatever we're going to do, we're going to need the city's help.
Yes.
yeah. Well, that's why I
because
say,
without-
I understand.
strength in numbers, though, maybe a bunch of you get together and And then that's what will, catch the mayor's office.
2 years ago, about 2 years ago, mayor have make appointment. I mean, you do FaceTiming and conference calls and stuff. It didn't really go far.
I hope it doesn't come to a point where you finally throw your hands in the air, but it may.
Yeah, I think Mr. Duvall did a good job just articulating the surrounding area, how it adversely impacts his property.
It's all accurate, and we know for a fact.
The financial information we submitted can only supplement what he is wanting in reduction.
Right.
So,
Again, though, because it's in
I understand.
litigation, there's
Yeah.
there's nothing we can do other than you're reserving your spot, if
Mm-hmm.
you will.
yes.
So what do we go in front of any other board or just?
No, right now it's,
Okay. I'm not familiar with this.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, so this is in the early stages of litigation?
Truth be told, I'm not sure. Have you guys filed a trial note of issue?
to my knowledge, no, but I would
Okay.
have to double check that. I believe
you know,
first
we are-
hearing
we
was
are
24, 25.
Open-minded about this, more than willing to keep dialogue going. Kind of circumscribed just again by the dollars and cents and the fact that we're in litigation, not looking to undermine our own position, but really we'd love to be part of any constructive solution to the extent that you both can.
And just last question, even though it's in litigation, you guys can still work together?
Yeah, I mean, and any figures that people put before me, I will analyze charitably, and if an offer can be made, that's acceptable.
So
We are there.
Yeah, we could submit you additional information that we just provided to the board to the best, if you would like a copy of that as well.
I'm happy to get it through these guys, but
Okay.
yeah, I will give it
Okay,
careful
great.
thought.
Okay.
I won't be just offering any reductions without stipulation this
Yeah.
time, but
Yeah.
do want to do whatever is reasonable that I can do to help.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you for coming up.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Safe travels back, and
Thanks.
hopefully something can come together, but I hear you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
All right.
Just have a good day.
Yes, you as
you. You
well.
too.
Thank you.
Most ones on there, the ones on there for 11:30.
Yep.
Will probably end up being the last of the day.
Okay.
He had called on Friday and his flight had gotten, changed so that it would be coming, supposed to be landing at 11. So he
Okay.
said that he would come as soon as he could get here.
If it's landing at 11, he ain't gonna be here at 11:30, I'm sure of that.
Well, that's why
Yeah, no, it's
I told
fine.
him that I would push him back to the last one.
Sure, not a problem there. I wonder if, well, these are after too, so I would say whenever you're ready, we'll take all 4 files and we'll see what transpires.
Yeah.
Would you guys like comp sheets for 709 East Genesee now, or wait until somebody's needed and we're all?
We certainly can take them.
Or the whole stack for that matter, I guess, right?
Yes, because either way, we're gonna read them in. If nobody shows for some reason. So, yeah, and then if they're not separated out.
Yeah, okay. 4 each for all 4 of you.
Yeah, because we will read them in, if nothing else.
Altogether. And then this is the one that'll probably be last.
Okay. Okay, so this gentleman that's flying in has 3 properties.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why. It's 7:09.
709 is the gentleman that's flying in?
Oh, no.
Because you said 11:30.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, that's.
Those
another
are together.
Yep.
This is the one that will probably be last.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. But at this point, it's in, what, this point, it's in, what, 123, 709, okay, I'm good.
All right, one for each of you. Pass those down.
Okay. It's gonna be for the next 4. Thank you. Yes. I think it's the top.
To answer the question on that, yes, it does look like these.
Okay, that was last year? Okay, yeah. Okay, so Matt, yeah, it looked like Sue just referenced last year. So on that property that just left, you had made a recommendation to lower and. Because normally,
It was a true snapshot of where the property should be.
yep,
Yeah, right.
yeah, because that size
perfect road.
reduction, yeah, so, and if you got a stip, that would have been like 3 years.
I could have done a 1-year stint, I think at that time.
It gives us a little history. Yeah, it's a, yeah, unfortunately, I agree, and I think it's just gonna be a matter of time before they decide to say, well, you know what, we better cut our losses.
From the Snowden east and north, it's Jesus, terrible. Yep. Yeah.
That's probably not ideal.
The reference, the St. John Evangelist Church. And now they're trying to go into the old nursing home, right? Jesus. Yeah. Right. Well, that's why
The
the
ladies who live in the neighborhood who still do all their banking over the counter. So, oh, we have to follow the old lady. St. Louis is a restaurant.
Yeah, well, it's
We're talking
accurate.
about getting out of the Regency?
Not to my knowledge. If I can remember correctly, I believe that he resigned
happens down at South City Market too. That's, get approached if you're lucky enough to get a parking place in the back, you get approached by someone. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. There's one on the corner, but earlier. They're not here. You know, we used to have them. Then they used to do
That
have
was,
that
that,
sign.
that's correct. But I think that,
Oh, yeah, 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 it is good.
it is, thank you. Either before or after in the show, we'll take a little, just a refresher on this week.
That was the first time. He's like, this is all right. Game's over. Oh yeah, that's cheeks. Raw. And they also robbed the Eagles. No, last night they robbed the
Oh,
Eagles.
were they getting calls?
Yeah.
Oh.
They called a false start on the Eagles. I didn't see the Eagles move an inch. And I watched the Chiefs go.
Yeah.
They were like shaking and baking in the line.
We also have a player who is offside literally every single play.
They did call that offside. They did call him once on the offside.
Oh, well, he's literally offside
Yeah.
all season.
They like threw the flag, and I'm watching the replay, and I'm like, yeah, that's offside. I'm like, what are you thinking?
He lines up there all year. They literally this year said that they were going to be addressing that more because of him. And all the other teams have had it like all
Well,
that. But don't
yeah, 'cause
worry,
you don't want the
there
swings.
there is no bias
Yeah, but
towards
you
the
don't,
cheese. It's preposterous and insulting.
you don't want that, but you don't want to upset the Swifties. They're gonna cancel.
Yeah. And but the NFL has definitely a reason to want the amount of more for the viewership to not be watching.
At all.
Well, they probably had everybody on time. But
I think
I don't know who's more upset today, Chiefs fans or the Giants.
Oh, is he gonna get 40 yards rushing? No, he got like 25. They had him covered. Which is nonsense.
Just to make a couple comments on Taylor Swift.
Uh-oh.
No, I don't care either way.
Then we'll have that.
Oh, no, this is just points of information. So, the last night, believe it or not, you could bet on how many times they showed her. And it was, the over-under was 11. Okay? Oh, no. They only showed it once.
Well, that's because she got booed.
All right,
She
so
got booed.
that was what I was
and-
gonna say. So the over-under was 11.
Right.
And so, of course, you know, the Chiefs were not doing well. So in one of the opening things, she was in the video, and we wondered if that was that counted as one of the 11, right? Obviously not knowing what was gonna happen during the game. Of course, Chiefs had not a good game at all. Kelsey had a shit game. And I believe that, I could have missed one, but I think they only showed her once. Then, after the game, I happened to, watch some of the commentating, and they said that, when she was shown, she was doing pretty good. Because they were referencing, Trump, and when they showed him, he did get a pretty good, cheer. So that was interesting, and, so up until that point, I assumed they hadn't shown her because they didn't have a lot of reason to, because Chiefs didn't do good, and Kelsey didn't do good. But then after, they said that she got booed, because obviously when they showed her on TV, she's on the jumbo. And, so, very interesting, hence why, they didn't show her much, more. I believe, because, they don't want her to get booed.
Well, and if you watch her reaction, because I saw it on Facebook today that she was not happy about it.
Like, who does like to be booed?
Well, I understand that, but she kind of was like, at first she's like, it took her a second to be like, are they booing me? And then
Okay.
she's like,
Well,
then
I
you can see
did,
how
I
they
did
got
watch
really
it
upset.
live, and, just kind of standing there, and I couldn't get a reaction or what have you anyway from seeing it there, and I didn't see it, afterward. But that's just.
It has only happened once that in the Super Bowl, a team has been down by more than 10 points.
Yeah.
That was the
What?
Tom
That was-
Brady,
that was
28 to 3.
28-3 against Atlanta.
They dropped the ball in the most metaphorical and literal sense. They dropped the ball. They had like, didn't they have 2 or 3 fumbles in the second half of that?
Yeah, Mahomes shot, 2 interceptions in the first half. Which
That was the funniest.
And we
That
knew
was-
the game was over at halftime based on the score. But I figured, Kansas City would get some garbage TVs.
Well,
It actually played out in the second half exactly the way.
It was what, 24-8, I think, or 24-3, I think, was at the half.
I
think
think they had it
34.
shut out.
Yeah.
I think it was 24-0 at halftime.
You love to see it.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. And again,
I'm not a Philly fan, but like if they're gonna burn down Philly one way or another, like I'd rather them burn it down because they're cheering rather than because they got like a bunch of really bad calls and got the games.
No, I've been just so, and Chiefs, great team, the
Yeah.
last 7 years.
I
But,
just don't want to
just
hear
sick
any
of
more
it and-
bundle Brewski.
Oh, yeah.
Bundle Brewski. That's awesome. That's what they should do this year. Bundle Brewski.
Or interception of Brewski.
Oh, I will also say, if you didn't watch the halftime show, you missed
Now
I don't
watch
know
the
a single one of
halftime
his
show.
songs.
it. It was so
I'm not
good.
a rapper guy.
Short King for days. Love it. Love Kendrick Lamar.
I'm too old for that.
John, I'm with you. Forgive me,
I was
but
all there for
I
last
just,
year's. Usher was
Usher-
amazing.
Usher was last year, and I'm like, let's get some change here. That's just me.
Yeah.
So I didn't even
enjoyed
bother.
Usher.
As soon
I
as
enjoyed
halftime
the
started,
year before
I went
that
out
with,
and, did whatever I needed to do.
Eminem and
Yeah. I mean, Kendrick Lamar is great.
I don't know Kendrick Lamar's stuff.
But also, like, I'm right at the age where, like, when I was a kid and my parents were, like, playing, like, hey, yeah, this is an oldie. And I'm like, oh, it's so old. That's Usher right now.
I know.
Like, Usher was big in 2006. 19 years ago. Nothing makes you feel older than having that, like, realization about, like, this is a block. And, like, some child is like, what?
When they start playing your club music while you're at the store.
You're bored, though. So I would rather get turned to a grocery store than at a club.
Are there even clubs anymore? I don't think Gen Z clubs.
Gen Z killing fun.
The 11:30 one is going to be the last one, so the other one should be here at 11:40. He called on Friday. Asked if he could. Because he was with his flight. Day is also a residential. That's technically Tom's Day, but there is a couple of Joes on there. And then Thursday is nonprofit. That day we only have the room until 11. Well, yeah, I think 11:30. A lot of those are, yeah, and a lot of those are St. Joe's, so hopefully like 14th will probably be a pretty short day. Right now, what on the other ones. Minute agreements after or necessary. Well, just a random free for all. Friday, small residential. Monday is a holiday. Tuesday is the evening. Bring something to eat. 20 or so. But we have to be here till 8. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yes, at 5. Yeah. Wednesday, as of right now, we'll probably look for Thursday there. And then Friday is I would just. Yeah. I would have to look. What's the property? Is there 3 of them or just?
No, you're fine.
Well, yes and no.
Now, this is sign you in as well.
I don't think that, I'm not.
And you're 1405.
Okay, so 709 East Genesee Street. How are you? Good. I'm going to swear you in a minute. Just make some notes here. This is 23.
Yeah.
This is 23 for all purposes. I'm just going to swear you in and read some information in, and then I'll turn it over to you for presentation. If you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
Marcus Catlin.
You affirm to tell the truth and give accurate information to the best of your ability?
I do.
Okay, very good, thank you. So we have 709 East Genesee Street. This is a commercial building, current tentative assessed value of $545,000. Let's see here, which would be a land value of $210,000. Petitioner believes the full market value is $635,000, which would be an assessed value of $365,125. And let's see here. Okay, let me just see if I can pick some information off. Got authorization in here and some other information, okay. Okay, so if you could just tell me what, or tell us what type of building this is. And
Sure. So the building's mixed use, 5 apartments, 1 commercial space. And the real issue with the property is just the structural vacancy. The first floor has been vacant since, I want to say 2020, might have been 2021, but it's, they've been trying to lease it out, unable to do so. So, I mean, if that space was occupied, I think the current full market assessment's a little under 950. So if that was, if they had a tenant in there paying rent, I think that would be reasonable in the sense that they'd probably be able to sell it for that value. But given that vacancy on the first floor, you know, they're just relying on the 5 apartments. So, you know, I could have done a income analysis, but using that, just the income off of the apartments, you're even using like a 35% expense ratio, you cap that out, it's still in the, you know, mid sixes. If someone's going to come in and buy, just based on the income. So I did a comparable market analysis on it, just different square footage. It's hard to find, you know, especially when you're doing mixed use, because there's different percentages commercial, residential. So, you know, I would take it with a grain of salt, but in terms of the ultimate operative question, which is, you know, if they were going to try to sell it today, I would say, you know, just from my conversations with the property owner, they would, you know, happily take in the 6s to 7. You know, they tried to sell it previously, and I included the listing. Obviously, they tried to sell it while it was still occupied, that commercial space. Weren't able to do so, and then have been, you know, continuously trying to lease that space for, at this point, 4 years. Unable to do so, and still with the current assessment just under $1 million, you know, that tax liability has also become a problem marketing the space, because anybody who buys it is going to have to assume that liability. So, all being said, you know, if they were going to try to sell the property today, you know, mid 6s I think is a fair value as to what the full market value of the property is. And equalizing that at the 57.5%, that's the basis of our request at 365.
All right. So this was United Uniform,
Correct.
and their lease expired in 2020. That sound about right?
Yeah.
And what was Michael Callett asking?
I believe he was I don't think it's in the listing.
Yeah, I don't
I
see
think
that.
he was trying to get $1 million for it with that tenant in place. I mean, their annual rents were in excess of $100,000. So, you know, that was a big part of the, you know, trying to get it sold at that point. And I mean, just in terms of the subject property in general, it is kind of a, you know, it's nestled right in between, right next to the, you know, there's like a parking garage right there. It's kind of almost, you know, the curb appeal isn't necessarily there, especially from the side that you'd enter the property. You kind of have to go down a little narrow corridor. So it's kind of set up for, I mean, at this point, the highest and best use might be conversion to residential, but even then, if he was to convert it and get another unit out of it, then we're still talking a 6-unit assessed at $1 million full market, which, I mean, just in rough numbers, that's, you know, almost $200 a door. So, yeah, it's just a, you know, hard time to lease a retail / you know, potential office space in that location.
Yeah, I read through some of that information pertaining to the ground floor commercial space. Okay. Matt, anything?
I think Grievant does make a pretty good case with respect to income cap. I'd come out in a similar spot with this vacancy, mid 6s, full market. You know, we've got sales comps all day for downtown row type buildings with residential. That said, it's true that these are kind of a moving target with respect to the percentage that's given over to commercial. Commercial's obviously a heck of a lot less valuable here in a soft market. Be less valuable in a strong market here. the property does benefit from a 485A. The conversion was, incented with the 485A. I don't know the extent to which that would survive any kind of a reduction, but we're certainly happy to keep a dialogue going. I'm eager to reevaluate based on P&Ls and give this some careful thought.
And, go ahead.
No, I mean, if the assessment office is agreeable, I'm willing to, stipulate that if they do in fact get a tenant in there, revalue it if they sell it, give those carve-outs just to,
Sure.
Allow the property to try to get back on its feet.
Yeah, let's talk. I mean, I think you're portraying a certain market reality here that we should probably pay a little more careful attention to.
And this is not in litigation currently?
Nope, this is new matter.
Okay. So,
No
Either a
change since
continued dialogue or-
2016, but yeah, we'll chat.
okay. Good with you? All right, that sounds great. I appreciate that. And so the assessor will advise us moving forward, and then the city will send a notice out first week of April. Are you the one that flew in?
No. Coming from,
You flew in. Okay.
just from
What's that? Oh, okay, good. All right, well, thank you for coming in, and you and Matt will chat, and then we'll get some information. Okay. Take care.
Contact info's in the folder, I assume?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks. Matt, OJ.
All right, we're ready whenever you are. So where did you fly in from? LaGuardia today?
I appreciate you pushing the time back for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem at all. I didn't think you were going to get here as you did, given, normal flight situations and what have you. So, you landed at 11?
Actually, we landed a little early, about 10:50.
Oh, okay.
I probably would have made it anyway.
Yeah, oh, that's great. Well, yeah, okay. I'm going to swear you in a second. And again, appreciate you coming from out of town. Is there there's 3 properties here. Any particular order you want these read in, and/or are they all affiliated together?
So the two on Ashworth are affiliated.
Okay,
I kind of view it as one entity, and then the Genesee is separate.
okay, all right. So with your approval, we'll do 1405 Genesee Street East first, and then the 2 on Ashworth, if that's okay.
That works.
Okay. Okay, if you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
Back Mimi?
You affirm to tell the truth and give accurate information to the best of your ability.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let me just make a note here. This is going to be 1405 East Genesee Street. This is number 24 for our purposes. Okay. Once again, 1405 East Genesee Street. This is a vacant commercial lot. Is it a lot or a building?
This is a vacant former Walgreens, so improved with the building.
Walgreens.
Vacant since 22, lease terminated prior to your purchase, I think, or not long after your purchase.
Well, actually, when I bought the building, they were still the legal tenant. It was just dark, so they were paying rent. And the main reason for my grievance, one of them was that when I bought the building, the former owners had won a grievance to lower it the year prior. And the difference between that time And now, besides for the fact that I purchased the property, was that, Walgreens was paying when the grievance was granted, and shortly after we purchased it, they asked us if they could terminate the lease, because there was only a year left. So we worked it out with them, and so now we have, now it's not just a dark space, there's no tenant.
All right, so let me just make a note here, read some numbers in, and then we'll get into it a little bit more. Current tentative assessed value, 595, with a land value of 150,000. So that was what the agreement was?
This is the tentative this year. We increased this 204th, 375 this year. You'll recall, counsel for the previous owner was in last year. We did not stip by design, but we did recommend a pretty significant reduction at that time.
Okay, all right. Lower than this 595?
204,375, lower than that, 395.
Okay. So now, again, current tentative 595 with a land value of 150. Petitioner believes the fair market value is 679,347, which would be an assessed value of 390,625.
Which is basically where it was prior to this proposed increase.
Okay, all right. And let me just look at a couple things here. When did you purchase the property and what did you purchase it for?
We bought it in May of 2024, May 31st, I believe. And we bought it for two potential uses, which we're still in the process of exploring. One is as a proposed development, and the other would be to, put a new tenant in the space as it is.
Okay. And what did you pay?
$1 million.
$1 million.
And the reason, maybe it's relevant, I don't know, it may not be. The reason we were willing to pay a little bit of a premium was because of the property next door that we own as well.
Okay, which is what?
The address there is 1415 through 1419 East Genesee Street, and that's just a vacant lot.
Okay.
It's two tax parcels technically next door to it. So it's 1415-17 and 1419.
Okay, yeah, so at the time of purchase, Walgreens was still paying to the prior owner. And then they reached out to you after the sale, and it was dark anyway. And then you guys made a deal on money versus letting them out of the lease. And that was when?
The exact date, I don't know off the top of my head, is roughly the deal is done roughly in either the end, I would say either mid to late July or August.
Okay.
I think August,
So you closed in May.
May 31st.
Okay. So soon thereafter, they reached out to you.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So again, like you said, you entertained and paid that purchase price based on them continuing to pay for another year.
No, not exactly. To be honest, we didn't really care too much about the income. I just thought it makes maybe a good case for the grievance, but we bought it because of future potential and owning the property next door. We were not relying on the income, although it was nice that it was there for another year.
Matt, any thoughts? I think you.
I sometimes make too big a deal about how everything we do exists in a contextual relationship with everything else. Last year's grievance really existed in a vacuum as far as I was concerned. Opposing counsel made a great case that this property was really encumbered by the existing lease. It was dark store. The income was what it was. Operating was what it was. I felt we had no choice but to bring it down. That said, we deliberately didn't pursue a stipulation, just offered a reduction, and the board recommended it, wanting to preserve our flexibility going forward. Just understanding that they were shopping the property, I think she was upfront about that. And we wanted to make sure that we weren't bound by some agreement that had us assessed below market going forward, out of the clear blue sky. This comes along, and now we've got a pretty good indicator of market value, which is Jack's purchase. That said, we've got a little wiggle room on the EQ rate. The EQ rate tanked this year, and by comparison to the purchase price, it seems like we might be a shade high. Willing to discuss that, but apart from that, I think we've got comps. I think we're in a good position. You know, we're not exactly manufacturing new half-acre sites at the foot of University Hill. If anything, the land looks a little low. Building is what it is. So happy to chat, but stand behind the comps here.
I don't disagree with you either about the lease potentially holding back the value of the property. I think just today, it's like we're in kind of this like gray zone of we don't know what we're doing yet. We don't really know what it's worth. And maybe like the previous guy that was here, I would say maybe it makes sense once we do know what direction we're going in. I think it'd be easier to increase it at that time, maybe back to what it is proposed now, or somewhere, you know, that's appropriate based on, you know, if we got a new tenant, or, you know, if it gets developed, it's certainly going to go up, you know, because we'd probably want to sell it or joint, you know, JV with someone.
Yeah, and we don't want to necessarily increase the carry for you during this pre-development stage. For shopping entitlements, on the other hand, we don't want you to pay nothing while you're going through that stage either. So again, I'd fall back on the purchase price being certainly the best indicator of value, and premium paid aside due to the assemblage value and the corner location. I don't know, a little room for wiggle room there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and so obviously you're trying to lease it, but are you in the middle of this, the pre-development process as far as what, getting approvals from the city and all that good stuff?
Yeah, we've been meeting.
That's why you're not sure.
Right. We've been meeting with the city, and it's a very weird zoning. It's PDD zoning, so it's just a very kind of seems like a very subjective zoning. Whereas if it was a, you know, different zoning district, you would know, you know, what you're more likely to be able to do. So we're 3 or 4 meetings in with the city, and we're going to formally submit the plans in probably about a week.
Okay, all right, good. So that brings me up to speed a little bit as to when you say you're not sure what you're going to do, you're already into the process to try to get approval, so okay, good.
Yeah, but if we don't get approvals, we're likely just going to consider what's there now and leasing it up. Or if it, you know, doesn't go the way we want or need for it to make sense as far as, you know, size, density.
Are you at liberty to say what you're considering or wanting to put in there? Just curious.
Yeah, I think it's 200-ish apartments. Yeah. Well, but not just this property, also the 2 next door.
Right. Hence your ownership of those. Okay. Well, there's certainly a need, so that would be great, I think. Okay. Anything else you want to add?
Oh, I think we covered it.
Okay. And you're good?
Yeah, looking forward to what comes next.
Yeah.
Love the design of the new building. Got our friends down the block working on the design, and it looks good.
Okay, so we'll, so you said there's some wiggle room. Are you going to make a recommendation to us? Or are we,
You know, we could trim 20 off. I mean, the equalization rate's
I'm
575.
not saying
paid
now,
imme-
I'm
Oh,
just
no, I
saying,
mean,
are
this is-
you,
Yeah,
is
but
that
that's
what
the
your
easiest math
thought
I can
is?
do, though. I could just say 575 now and make it go away. If Jay, I wouldn't even ask for a stip if you just want to say $575,000 assessment. See you next year. I'd be happy with that.
I'm a little bit
I
unfamiliar
know,
with that,
I don't mean
but
to.
whatever you guys decide is
Yeah.
fine, and I'm not gonna take it any further than this here, or maybe another conversation, but no problem. Whatever you guys think is the right
all right,
thing.
so just, yeah, recommendation. So we're going to note a recommendation of 575, but then we're going to dig in a little bit further and kind of see where we're at.
I would say 500 would be great. But
Okay, so we'll make a note of that as well, that 500 would be better. Probably 450 would be better too, just,
0 would be the best.
would have been worth the trip. Okay, nope, that sounds great. Thank you very much for that. And so then, if it's okay to move on to these other two here, okay. I'll read them in together. 123 Ashworth Place and 125 Ashworth Place. Again, this is 123 Ashworth Place. Is this a two-family, a residential?
This is vacant property.
This is vacant property, no improvement is what you're saying. Okay. So. Vacant lot. Is it a commercial lot?
As far as the zoning or the use, or
Yeah.
it's a mixed use zone.
Next two?
Or
Four, okay.
Okay, we've got a current tentative assessed value of 22,000 on the sheet, but is it 24,000?
123 Ashworth?
Yes,
22,000.
22,000.
125
Oh,
is
yeah,
is
I
assessed at
got
24.
you. Yep, and I was looking at the other one. And a land value of 22,000. Petitioner believes the assessed value is $5,642, which would be a full market value of $9,812.
which one is this? 120.
This is 123 Ashworth? Yep. 9812. And then we have 125 Ashworth Place. We have a current tentative assessed value of 24,000 with a land value of 24,000. We have petitioner believes the assessed value is $6,552. What do we have for a market value of that? Michelle? Just need a market value on 6,552 assessed value. It's not there. $11,395. And this is same thing, vacant commercial lot, mixed use, as you say. Okay. When did you purchase this with just a little synopsis?
Sometime at the end of 2024, I forgot the month,
Okay.
and end of 2024.
And what did you pay for these?
I paid a combined 105,000. One of them was 75, and one of them was 30. I believe the smaller one was 75, and the bigger one was 30. So I think 123 was 75, and 125 was 30.
Okay. And, okay, and I've got full market values assessment-wise. Okay, what's the plan going to be for these?
We got approval to put a parking lot, so we're gonna put a parking lot sometime in the next few months for 19 parking spaces to serve some buildings we have down the street.
Oh, good. Okay, all right. What, how many properties do you own in the city here?
Roughly 12, 12 if we include the vacant parcels.
Okay.
I think roughly
When did you start purchasing?
2016.
Okay. But do you have a connection with the area, or?
No, I visited it a few times. I had some friends and a cousin in college here, and I came up and visited, and that was it.
Going to SU?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
The 19 is parking spots is for both lots?
Yeah, combined, yeah.
Okay. Matt?
These do exist contextually with the rest of what's around them. We did a land reassessment of this block this past year. This got caught up in that. We got a couple on the East Fayette, 1200 block of East Fayette Street side of the block, too. I think the one funny thing about this that might look a little odd is that obviously one seller was happy to part with his property for 30,000, and I guess the next door neighbor was looking to get a little more out of you. So the assessments, despite the fact that one's a 3,600 square foot lot and the other 31, do correspond to one another, but to the extent that either sale is a comp, those look a little different. Most of our comps, as you'll see, are larger. We don't usually see properties this small sell in the neighborhood, except as part of a larger assemblage. Really wasn't appropriate to apply assemblage values to this. The two properties are probably going to be resubbed as part of the parking lot. Either way, they're one economic unit for now, but that's not really a good way to go fishing for sales comps. So we've been able to bracket the sale. I think the assessments, 1159 a foot full market, 1234 a foot full market. Those correspond with our understanding of what's going on Ashworth and the 1200 block of East Fayette right now. So we're kind of, land is land. Absent any other real encumbrances, I think we're pretty comfortable with those values.
Okay. Anything you want to add there?
Yeah, just this spreadsheet I put at the end of the grievance. I don't know if you guys have it. It just shows there's 8 vacant parcels on this street, and it was just comparing it to those. And I think on average we were 4 times the average on the proposed increase. They range in assessed value from $1 to $2 a foot. One of them is $387 a foot. This is proposed assessed value, and then we're coming in closer to 7. So that was kind of the premise for the grievance. But granted, the purchase price is the purchase price, and I understand that that's part of
Valuation.
right.
Right.
I mean, you're not wrong, and not to coach you right at the table if it's against my own interests, but is the grievance citing a complaint for unequal assessment or a different complaint? Because no, I'd like to look more closely at that. Ideally, everybody's on an even playing field and everybody's assessed by and large the same, absent physical differences in the properties.
I don't have the actual grievance here, but I think I did check off the unequal.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
I'll have a more careful look. I mean, I think, as you get closer to University and Walnut, the values are higher, mid-block a little lower, probably some other characteristic differences on the block, but I think everything should exist within a fairly tight range of value over there.
So
So,
we can go over that. He's got, did go over some unequal assessment
Okay, good.
information. So that's good, and I'll just, that was on 123. Let me just take a peek to confirm on 125. Yeah,
zoning too, I don't off the top of my head know what the zoning is on the north side of Ashworth, but if there's any differences as we get close to the north-south streets, that could account for some difference in assessed value.
The north side of the block's MX4, the south side's MX2.
Okay,
And out of the 8 vacant parcels, it's a very, there's at least, I think there's maybe 6 on the north side and 2 on the south side. I could be wrong, but it's, there's, you know, in my spreadsheet here, there's both sides of the block.
One idiosyncrasy is I know, and I couldn't cite the blocks off the top of my head, but for a 2-block street, you know, with 4 facing blocks, Ashworth is split between the 15th and 16th wards, so we have 2 different humans looking at these 2 blocks. So that could account for some inconsistency, but, you know, ideally we're supposed to talk to one another and make sure that doesn't show once the roll is out, but that's what we're here for, to get the roll a little better before I sign it.
Understood. Yeah, I would say just if you're able to whenever you review it, just to I attached all of them and you know broke it down in a very like easy to understand type of way.
Good. I'll ask these folks to share that with me. I'm curious to have a look.
yeah, I did see that, and just want to make sure it's in both of them, which I believe that it is. Okay, yeah, so we'll make sure that Matt gets a copy of that too. Okay, anything else you want to add? Good shape,
Thanks
Matt?
for the time and
No,
thanks,
that's, you know, interesting. Appreciate your highlighting that.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for coming in and appreciate that, and the city will send out,
Thank you.
yeah, city will send you out a notice first week of April. Okay. All right, and I believe that's everything, right? Yep. Okay. So we'll adjourn for today, and thank you. And thank you.
Yeah, thanks, John. Tough for council to be in the room while being conciliatory with everybody. I've been fighting that over here.
Thursday, mid-morning, probably would work if you.
So like starting at like 10?
Yeah, I think 10:30 is good.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think 10:30.
How many hours you talking?
I would say 2 to 3. And again, it's kind of like a general, depending on what name we.
I'll try to see if I can get a location for 10 to 1.
I think that's always good. And then we'll fit into that time frame.
Perfect. I will send you actually, no, I'm going to see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
My migraine doesn't go away.
And all those exciting bits of people's grievances discussed that I haven't seen. Drop those in the folder. I don't know. I think people made some good points. Thanks all. See you soon.
This is a rhetorical question.
See you later.
You bought the property from us.
Yeah, it's sometimes I really get into it and say, how do you establish market value?
Yeah, you established the
Pretty much,
value by what you paid for it. I mean,
Yeah, no, generally speaking, that's the way we go, unless,
I understand, I just think it's kind of comical.
yeah.
I mean, I know.
Yeah, on this, yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Give you a little further feedback. All right, Carl, I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, nice.
It's the 19th you're talking about, but we'll,
Just to run it down again, tomorrow residential, Wednesday residential, Thursday commercial. Friday, a few leftovers, nothing Monday. The evening, we gotta be there till 8. Probably for availability, we'll, Friday was,
That one's, yep, that's it, commercial overflow.
Where's the rule?
Have to be after, hour. Yeah, so it starts at 5.
is that the only evening this year?
Yeah, since,
We used to have two,
yeah, no,
but, probably per, you know, the people just can't.
exactly.
And if I could ask just for the fun of it, do we have hearings going into, the following week?
So the Monday will be a full commercial. And then Tuesday is, right now it's just LeMoyne. And Wednesday is Destiny and Railroad. Right now through the 26th. Gonna try to not have to see you on the 10th.
The only other question I have.
I don't know for sure.
Beautiful, all right, thank you.
All right, see you guys tomorrow.
Yes, sounds good, look forward to it. we were supposed to get, one or two last night. Get on into this morning, and then when I woke up and looked up, okay, maybe it was a trace to one then?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because they did get,
Pleasantly surprised.
Oswego, Fulton, those
Yeah.
schools were closed. Yeah, well, when I woke up, there was, you know, my gauge is the car's freest